Good morning, beauties. So I did want to talk about a specific thing. Um, and I don't talk about this to recommend anyone to do it, but I do talk about it to uplift and give hope. And so I recently met, well, I'm not going to say met, but was introduced to a woman that has a heart transplant. To my understanding, she has 2 children already, and she's been transplanted a few years now. And she reached out to me, and we just began to have a conversation. And she mentioned about me having a daughter after my transplant. And let me just clear that up. For me, I've always desired to be a mother and have a lot of children. I really wanted 5. And being young, I used to tell my mom that I should have had kids at an early age, so that would have been out the way. And I still believe that, to a certain extent, that that's something that I should have done, but God worked it out just how He saw fit. And so when I had my son and I lost him, that burning desire for children came even more, children. And I just was determined, even when I had him, when doctors told me that he wouldn't live, I wouldn't live, he would pass away in my stomach, I wouldn't be able to birth him, like all kinds of things. And I mean, like all odds was against me. And if I be honest, I could feel in my body that odds was against me. Yeah, I wasn't carrying him in a healthy way. I was so little. I was at the doctor every week. Something was always going wrong. He wasn't growing. Everything was against me. It was nobody but God that brought me through that pregnancy. And so with having to stand on my own with my faith, that's not an easy thing to do. I want to say that. It's not easy to do. You have to be determined in a way. Your faith have to be very high for what I did. And my faith was just that high. I'm not telling a woman that desire children before or after a transplant to have children or not have children. That's not my call. I'm just saying what Kimberly did. And with the determination that I had, I birthed that son. Although I lost him, that part, him not making it, had everything to do with a staph infection that he caught in the hospital twice. And the second time, he obviously couldn't fight it off. He was just so fragile, so little. I birthed him at 1 pound, literally. So I wanted to bring this conversation up because I'm all about uplifting and encouraging and giving hope to women. And I feel like Kimberly, I'm not no doctor or anything like that. If someone desires something and that's just a purpose or their burning desire, I just would always recommend a person to do what they heart's desire. Because for me, life wasn't worth living if I couldn't be a mother. That was me. And I was determined, and I got my son here, like I stated. And the situation happened. Yes, I lost him. And for many years, I wanted that desire to go away. But if I be honest, it never went away. It never went away. I come from a very large family. I knew I was gifted or blessed to be a mother. I always knew that. That was not anything that I wonder or questioned. It's just something that I knew within myself. And she was asking about the doctors and how did they feel about it? What did they say? Did they recommend me? The answer is no. Nobody recommended me. Nobody told me to do it. It was just something my heart desired. And I did have one doctor that it wasn't about agreeing with me. It was about supporting me. And I had that in one of my doctors. I had support. And that made all the difference. It's like another strength burst out of me knowing that I had that support. Because sometimes it's not about agreeing with somebody, it's just supporting them. And that's what I had. So when it comes to women and having children after heart disease, you know, if you a believer, because I am, you know, talk to the Lord about it. See what God has to say about that happening in your life. Because for me, I desired it, I prayed about it, and God allowed it to happen for me. He said, delight yourself in him and he will give you the desires of your heart. And he gave me my heart desire. And yesterday I am a mother to a 3-year-old little girl that I carried and I birthed, and had a beautiful, wonderful, smooth pregnancy. You know, comparison to my son pregnancy, that was hard. Everything was wrong. But with her, it was so beautiful. It was lovely. It was amazing. I seen God's hand, and God literally carried me through that entire pregnancy. So again, I say to women, I hope that that can be your life. I hope that that can be your story. If children is what you want, a child is what you want, I pray that God bless you with that desire of your heart. And sometimes birthing children could not be wise, but that doesn't mean you can't be a mother. There's so many different ways to be a mother. And I will always say that if that's something you want, go for it. You know, don't put your body in harm's way like I did with my son, because that's what I did. It was just a determination that I had, and it didn't work out for me the way I wanted it to. But I still birthed him. I still had him. I breastfed him. You know, I was able to see his personality. It was so many beautiful things came out of it before I lost him. You know, and then 7 years later, the Lord seemed fit for me to birth another child. So everyone's life is different. Everyone's story is different. But I'm rooting for any woman. Kimberly is rooting for any woman that desires a child. And I'm not saying go out there and do it any kind of way. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I want the same desire that you have for your life and for yourself. And I just hope that my life does give you hope in whatever way it does. So that's what I have. Until next time, beauties.